right, guys, we're back. I'm laughing because you guys just don't even know what happens pre-recording, post-recording, during recording. All right, Electoral College, very quickly, like we said, we wanted to talk about what it is. The Electoral College is it's the founding fathers' solution to not having majority rule because they were scared, mob rule, they were scared of majority of people voting for something they didn't want. So we have 50 states, and of the 50 states, we each get 2 electoral votes for the senators that we have, and then we get this certain amount based on our population. Big states get more, smaller states get less. So that's really what the Electoral College is. It's a way to avoid majority rule in case the majority says they want something crazy.
Yeah, and remember a shameless plug: the population and the electoral college from the representatives are based on the census and the population. Yes. So just watch our other video, and you'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah, go back if you really want to understand population. We talked about that, House of Representatives, Senate. We talked about that in Congress. So basically, it's the representatives that are sent to a local representative place that that party chose, and the majority of that state. So like wherever you live, the majority of the people say they want this candidate. That number of Electoral College votes then picks, no matter who you are, no matter what party you have, you must get that 270 votes out of the total, which is 538 votes. You got to get a majority, 270. So what I wanted to do is just share a screen. Now, guys, this is my first time really trying this, so I don't want to share the wrong thing.
Go.
I can do it. I'm gonna share a screen of. See, where did I put it? I knew it was gonna happen. All right. Hold on, a speaker view, right? Nope, not speaker view. Ah! Tiff, what do I do?
Share your, I can see it in your glasses, just so I think.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Well, while you're looking to share that, I do want to just go over the fact that the electors, just in layman's terms, it's basically people that are chosen to make the choice for you based on your choice. And that's not really layman's terms because it seems a little confusing, but the electors pretty much go based on the popular vote of your state, and they choose who you chose. And one of the things that is coming to the forefront now is that some electors in 2016's campaign, they went against the grain. They didn't go by the popular vote. They went by the end, or they didn't choose. And there's about 32 states that they have a binding contract to say whoever won the popular vote wins the electoral college.
Right. It's called the faithless elector. So when if your state decides they wanted this person and you decide as the elector for that state, you don't want to do it, you normally could have said, I don't want to vote for that person. And that's why I said, we're not a true democracy, even though you might get angry at that. We're not a true democracy. All right, so here's the picture, guys. I think this is going to be it. Can you see it?
Yep, it's there.
Okay, so you see Florida has 29, Georgia has 16, New York has 29, California has 55 actually. So you can see this is how the map plays out, regardless of who the candidate is and regardless of the year it is. This is how it, so on the bottom, you see in the bottom right corner, it says you need 270 to win. So all the red is generally where the Republicans win. And all the blue is where the Democrats win. And then the swing, as you were talking about, are those like grayish areas where they tend to vote wherever the wind blows that year, Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan. So that's why you see a lot of campaigning happening in those states. So I just quickly wanted to show that, or we just wanted to show that just so you can see that this was all planned out in a way, like, you know, the fear of.
It's very hard. It's hard to get to the 270 without certain things. And that's why you'll see the candidates campaigning much more in certain states with the big numbers. One thing, when we talk about fairness, the fairness factor is, of course, if you only needed the 270 and you could win the coastal states like Florida, Oregon, New York, California, then you'll never have to address the issues of
Right.
the middle
Right.
of America. So I think in that instance, the Electoral College is fair in theory. The unfair advantage is the fact that the winner takes all. So when you say our vote should count or doesn't count, I mean, counts for everything. But if we voted, why isn't the Electoral College split based on
Right.
the percentage of the vote? It's winner take all, like we were talking about.
Well, there's only one state, I believe, that has it where it's not totally that state.
Two.
Oh,
I think
two?
Maine and Nebraska.
Nebraska definitely has districts. So you can win parts of Nebraska and get that electoral piece. So I think if that happened, we'd see a different, like New York is ginormous, right? 20 million people is ginormous. And people think New York is Democratic, but it really isn't. When you think in terms of region, it's not. But the population of the city is so big that we do have a lot more votes in the city. But when you go rural, Long Island, out there on the island, if you go out near Albany, those are all Republican areas. Yeah. But because of the city part is so big, it's like, of the 20 million we have, it's probably like 10 million or not 11 million is, so we have a large population in the city, which makes it look like we're a Democratic state. So if we broke it up like Nebraska, and who was the other one you said? Maine. If we broke it up like that, it would be an
interesting ride.
It would be an interesting thing. It'd be like how in baseball they changed it to what league was in. They made the wild card, and they made all these different layers for you to be able to get to the World Series, so that good teams didn't always just straight up win. Yes. So I think when we talk about pros and cons, that is a pro. I think another pro is that it is not mob rule, because we've seen Democratic things happen that are not necessarily good for all the people, right? We see women didn't get the vote until 1920. Blacks didn't get the vote until the late 1800s. Hispanics and, people of color are still discriminating. Poor people are still, when you see that. Also, one I really think is fair is that the smaller states, they do get power because they're the ones that make a lot of the decisions when it comes to this voting. But that's also a con. Yeah. Because you're going to ignore the states that you feel you can't win.
Yeah.
If you're a Republican, we're not going to have a Republican convention in New York. It's too expensive, and it's considered Democratic.
Or another thing they would do, the candidates would do, is take advantage or take it for granted that they would win that state, because it's always like that.
That's what happened with Hillary.
I was going to say, I think that was a problem with Hillary in Wisconsin or Michigan. I think Michigan, that they were all going to vote for her because, hey, that's what they usually do. One of the things that is annoying to me is the fact that the electoral college system is only used for the presidency. What other system of voting do we have that we use the electoral, not for the governors, mayors?
Right.
Why is it for the president? I don't.
That's why I love you. I never thought of that. That's true. That's true.
So if anyone can answer that question for us or has knowledge on that, let us know. But that's very interesting that the only thing that we elect, which has the electoral college, is the presidency, not
and
local.
When you really think about it, the president normally, in normal presidencies, they don't really affect the regular daily people as much as lower level governments, right? Yes. Like your state is really affected by your governor making decisions. Hello, I don't want to get you angry and all hopped up. She didn't eat, so she hangry. And then I didn't eat because I'm hangry.
Angry regardless of if I ate or not. It's just,
I know. And then that'll make it worse. Yeah, that will make it worse. So we just want to give you guys a brief understanding. And in our playlist, we've created a playlist. And we are going to have an area in the voting area where we recommend certain videos to watch if you really want to get an understanding, because we did a little taping of this behind the scenes confession, and the video got really long because the electoral college is really complex. Even though it's a simple idea, we don't want mob rule, it is really complex. And to amend it and to change the electoral college, which a lot of people are calling for, it takes 35 states to really amend the Constitution. And that, when you looked at that map, the red states would probably not do it because it benefits them. And it's a lot more red states than it is blue states.
Or we could consider not just amending it to get rid of it completely, but amending it to where it's like Maine or Nebraska, where it's proportional.
Yes.
So then that way the American people feel like our votes when it comes to the presidency goes towards something, versus if I voted, if 500 million people, or I'm sorry, 500,000 people voted and the other person gets the popular vote, my vote now goes nowhere. It doesn't count for anything. So that's something that can be considered, where we're doing based on percentage and divvy it up.
Which you brought up, oh my God, it would get long if we start talking about that, but you really did bring up a good point about population, because generally and historically, unless it's like really controversial elections or really exciting elections, Republican voters tend to vote more, I believe, than probably, certain states tend to have more of a turnout than other states. And so that's how Hillary lost, is because where you were expecting people to vote, you just counted what they were and said, okay, she got that one. But they didn't turn out. And that's from voter suppression, as well as just the enthusiasm of it. But guys, that's another subject for another day. We are excited to continue to talk with you, but we didn't want to make this too long and complicated, because it really did get complicated.
I did want to ask the viewers just a question of whether or not you guys think it's a fair system. And if you don't think it's fair, what would you replace it with? Would you have an idea of what it could be replaced with? In my opinion, I think it's obsolete. Like I said, I advocate for a proportional issuance of the electoral votes, but that's just me. So let us know.
Yeah, let us know, guys, what you think. And you can email again. You can email us at 2polychicks, the number 2polychicks, at Gmail, or you can do a comment. Our Facebook page is there. We have Twitter, we have Instagram. You can message us anywhere and we will answer. Thank you guys for being with us once again. And this video is a complete success. All right, deuces, guys.